all who are here right now and those who will be coming shortly. This is Jackie's Crystal Moon, and this is a very important guest for me because Jackie was my entry point into the tarot community
Wow.
because I ran it. Well, actually, the entry point was kind of this one channel was called Star Sparrow Tarot. I think she's just Star is the something. She changed her channel name,
Yeah, yeah.
and then Jackie was a comment on one of her videos, and I clicked on Jackie's Crystal Moon, and then I went to her channel, and then oh, this is interesting, and then I ran across a live where there was Heather, Indigo, Heather, and then Care Bear bar the cards because Care Bear was doing a live talking about astrology and so forth, and so
Huh.
that's kind of the whole entry point was through Jackie, which is so. This is why I see as why you are. I'm very happy to have you on
Oh, good.
because it was. Um, I feel like it's like if it wasn't for your channel, I would have not have met anyone else's.
So how
Um,
long have you been, how long ago was that, Bill?
you know what? That was, I want to say that it was like February of a year ago
Okay.
because it was
Yeah, I was thinking.
before National Poetry Month. And so it
Yeah.
was April. By April, I was, a year ago, April, Care Bear was coming on to my lives as far as like as a chatting in the chat
Yeah.
because
Yeah.
I hadn't done the Go Live Together feature yet, and I think I started doing lives. Uh, I don't know. It's been a year. It's been a year, a
Time
little over.
flies.
But going love live together is just been just this year, and so the first person that I went live together with was Roots and Waves over there
Oh, yeah.
in Ontario, I think, or well, oh, Quebec. I think she's Quebec. She's on the anyway. She's
She's up
east
there
of
somewhere. Yeah. Yeah.
yeah, yeah. All right. So what I'm going to do now is we're going to get started here. Jackie's going to tell us about her channel, and I'm going to turn the camera down. And we'll just do the drill. I'm going to try to make sure that nobody sees my clutter or anything like that. And, you know, that's one of the things I'm no good at is cleaning.
That's all
I
right.
but then how many men are good at cleaning,
I
really?
suppose. I suppose that's true too. That's true.
You know, if you really think about it, I mean, it's like the least favorite activity.
Give me 2 seconds. I'm going to pull my curtain over a little bit because there was no sun all day and now the sun is coming out and it's getting a bit bright. It's going to be on my face in a sec. I'm just going to pull
Okay,
it over a tiny bit, all right? Give me 2 seconds.
well, that's fine. So what's going on here? Why is this?
That's still good, it is. Because otherwise you won't be able to see me with the blinding sunlight. Right.
So what is it that you do here on YouTube? What do you do, Jackie?
So, I wrote some notes just to kind of make sure I don't forget anything. um, I in 2000 back all the way back in 2011, right? It all started with spirituality for me. I had joined an American network marketing company, and everyone in the company was into spiritual stuff. They all had oracle cards, angel cards, that kind of stuff. So I bought my first deck of angel cards. So that's where it started back in 2011. Um, and then through that company, I met loads of other spiritual people. I was invited to events, different classes, this kind of thing. So I went to everything I was invited in because I was really, really interested, right? And then in January 2018, after I had about 10 or 15 decks of Angel and Oracle decks, cards. I decided for some reason, I love animals, but now I actually don't want any decks with animals because I just want people in my cards, you know.
Mhm.
But at the time, I had it in my head I wanted a deck of animal oracle cards. So
Yeah.
I googled animal oracle cards, and what actually showed up was a deck. Now I can't remember the name of it. If someone said it, I would know it. But it was a deck of tarot cards. So I ordered it without realizing that tarot was even different. I didn't have a clue at the time. Imagine now, this was only about 7 years ago. So I ordered it. A couple of days later, realized it was different, and I sat in my car and I was reading. I don't know if you know Kyle Gray, you know, the Scottish angel expert. He's written books and he has card decks with Hay House and the likes. Have you heard of him?
No, I have not.
No. So I was reading one of his books and he was explaining how to talk to the universe and, you know, ask the universe for guidance and whatnot.
Hmm.
So I asked Archangel Michael and Gabriel for guidance to find someone to teach me tarot because I had the tarot deck on the way. 5 minutes later, Bill, I'm not joking you, I met someone, and without going into the jigs and the reels of it, I found out that she was a certified tarot reader and teacher.
Hmm.
So about 2 weeks later, I did a tarot workshop with her, and that was the start of my obsession with tarot. I was completely hooked.
Well, I do
So
realize that it's very easy to collect these decks, and
yes,
especially when you go into somebody else's channel and you say, "Oh, that one looks cool."
yeah,
Welcome, Wednesday Reflection. Welcome, 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 Frank.
yes. Hi everyone, all the peeps are here.
Welcome, Karen, and
Um,
welcome, Fatima. I'm just
and we
gonna
have Karen, Fatima.
to Rodney. Could you do this time in the morning earlier on Friday? And just I'll send you an email about that. I was just thinking maybe can try to do. I'll do since I'm going to be up early every day this week doing stuff. So
Oh yeah, okay.
yeah.
That's looking good already, Bill.
Yes. Anyways, yeah. Anyway, sorry. How easy it is to
Collect decks.
collect them. Yeah, and so it's just like I was like this year. One of the
Exactly.
things that I was trying to do was to not collect any new ones, and and then and that well, okay, this time, yeah, all right. Now I'm not gonna. I'm just gonna use the ones I have. I have that new channel that I started, that Tools of
Yes.
Fortune, so I can go through my old decks and display them and so forth and do stuff,
Yeah.
you know. And
Yeah.
then
If
yeah, because
I'm
it's
not using them for a while, I sell them on or gift them to people because I get carried away sometimes, you know, buying too much. Now I would have looked at decks a good few times on YouTube before I'd make the decision to actually purchase them, you know. I'd have to know what all the cards look like, you know.
yeah, but sometimes it's kind of fun just to buy something completely blind. Let's say it pops up in your feed and think, oh well, it's only $11. What how bad could it be, right?
Yeah, I know, yeah.
Well, sometimes that bad can be pretty bad. But like, let's see. I'm gonna do a video on these Y spell decks here. This one here is like the second one of these. The smell is so toxic that I
Frank,
really,
look.
yeah, exactly. And so I still have it in the
Or Frank
package,
Bill. Jesus, sorry.
and the cards smell toxic,
They're
and I
very
can
strong.
and so it's just like, okay, I guess I'm gonna do my first really negative review here. But I have one Y spell deck that I really like, because I think what happened is, if I'm just kind of really getting sidetracked here, but maybe not.
Sorry.
Feel like Y spell was selling their decks around between like 18 and $30, and then they moved it down. They dropped it down by $10, Thank you.
Okay.
And they dropped it down by about $10. And I think that what they did is they changed printers. They
Oh,
they
okay.
changed to a cheaper printer,
Right.
and then I see that, because I have, let's see how many, I think I have 3 Weissbell decks, and so the only the first one, I think it doesn't have a toxic smell. All the other ones have some kind of a weird ass smell, and
Yeah.
so
But this
so
is
I'm
my first voice spell deck, but it's a strong smell, all right.
yeah, and then my very first tarot deck was not a Weissbell, but it was a keyword deck, and it still stinks. It smells like formaldehyde. And it's just like you smell these strong smelling things, and I feel like it's like if I use this thing too much, I'm gonna give me a bad headache,
Yeah,
and
yeah.
yeah, that's the whole thing with those decks, and the unintended consequences. I don't know if that's what that is, but you know,
Yeah, this one was very reasonable. It was only about 16 euro, I think. So it
yeah,
was very reasonable. Yeah.
yeah. Well, I always kind of wonder why can't they just choose a printer in the region of the world where people are, because like I think that the the largest consumer of tarot decks is in the United States, and then it's in Europe. Why not just choose printers that are in those different regions rather than
Yeah, yeah.
like all the way over there in China land or someplace like that? But I don't
I
know.
know.
I, yeah. Anyways, that's
Thanks,
just
Karen.
yeah.
Karen is
So
saying
anyway.
very, very Irish those cups are.
Yeah, well, that's what we're having these Irish cups here because they are.
That was the plan.
That was the plan that we started out with. I'm gonna add in some other colors to try to change it up so it makes it looks like there's some depth to that.
Lovely.
And so you were talking about how you got into tarot. Now, is there anything that you would like to maybe add that you haven't told in any of the interviews you've had with other people about your beginning? Is there anything in there that maybe you've always wanted to say about it, but you haven't actually said it? And there's not
Um,
personal or anything.
the only thing I can think of, I know I said it once probably, right, on my channel, but I'd imagine not everyone would have heard it. But when I was, so that was January 2018. About a month later, I was on, or I was at home, sorry, and my neighbor texted me. And my neighbor is also my hairdresser and a friend of mine. And she texted me and she said, "Are you at home?" I said, "I am." She said, "Are you busy?" I said, "I'm not." She said, "I have a client here." She was after doing her hair, and she said, "Can you come over and do a tarot reading for her?" Now, I was learning tarot, but I was also teaching my neighbor at the same time.
Mm-hmm.
So she asked me to come over and do a tarot reading for for her hairdressing client. Like, "Hey, Maya," so and Steph. So I said, "Look, you know as much as I do. Why don't you do it?" And she said, "No, no, no." She said, "I wouldn't have the confidence." So I said, "All right, boil the kettle. I'll be over." So I went over and I didn't know the woman at all. I pulled three cards and just a simple past, present, future I was doing. So I had the past Nine of Pentacles and the present Six of Swords. And as I'm sure most of you know, the Six of Swords card, the people are moving away from the Nine of or Nine of Pentacles, I should say. Nine of Pentacles, Six of Swords in the present, moving away from it. And then in the future, the Hermit card, right? So I said to her, that's strange. And she said, "What?" I said, "In the past, you have the Nine of Pentacles, which is, material and physical happiness and abundance and all that, But I said, the Six of Swords in the present is showing you moving away from that." And my neighbor says to me, "Don't you know who she is?" I said, "No, sorry." I said, "I haven't a clue who you are." And it turns out her husband is a well known artist, um, who I'd heard of, like, but I just didn't know her. They had
Hmm.
separated from each other 3 years previously, but they were still friends. And she was still in the house and he was still looking after her, financially and all the rest of it. And I said, look, you're apart, you need to move on. And with the hermit in the future, then of course, I said, look, you need to go inward and figure out who you are as a person all by yourself without your ex-husband, you know? And that simple three card spread really blew her mind. Um,
Mm.
and she was quite an introverted person too. And she totally came out of herself since then, and she's involved in everything, and she's like a new woman, and she's doing her own thing and not relying on him and all the rest of it, you know. And it's just amazing the change in her. That gave me massive confidence in my own tarot reading, and that was only a month in, like, you know, I was only learning a month. So
Yeah.
that was pretty that was pretty awesome. So that got me kind of even more hooked then, you know. Um, so jump forward a year then, and I had been in the mountains in a different county here in Ireland, and I was picking up some rocks with some, you know, a quartz crystal through them and stuff. I brought them home and I just made a little video. I wasn't showing my face. I was too nervous to do that, you know, but I just made a quick video showing my crystal collection and posted it. And then the very next day, I thought, you know what, it's time for me to show my face. So the next day, I made a video showing my face with a collection of crystals I already had at home. Um, and then the following year, 2020, the first year of lockdown, I decided to start making short daily card readings just to kind of cheer people up. And it all kind of
Mhm.
took off from there then, you know, because my numbers were, I want, like you, I know I heard you saying this the other day somewhere, that you wanted to grow your numbers organically. You know, I know a lot of people spend money in buying subscribers and all the rest of it, but I wanted to do it all organically as well, you know. So
Yeah.
through my
Well,
daily card readings, it really grew.
that was on Cosmic's channel, and because he just started going live, he,
Yes.
you
Yeah.
know, and yeah, I've because when I was like first started this channel, I was like cruising through Reddit forums. It was first a forum on
Mm.
Quora, and then it was like I acquired a was some person, and then it was like he, you know, tracked me down like on Instagram, and then kept on, you know, it was like saying, oh, you need to watch my latest video, oh, you need to watch it this way, this way, this way, and oh, make sure you don't skip any of the ads and all that. Pretty soon I got just so sick and tired of this guy, all these demands and stuff like that. I just ended my Instagram channel.
Oh wow. Yeah, yeah.
Yeah, it was just like, well, okay, well, he's still out there. Well, it's just, rather than going out and blocking the guy, I thought, well, I'll just, you know, anyway, you know, meta products are kind of toxic anyway. And the way, because with the way that they ran, that the meta does its algorithm, you maybe there are things that you want to watch, but somehow the algorithm has like is run by a little demon that forces the content you don't want to watch, but is also the most addictive.
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
That's what I've noticed about it. What about it? And so I recently had opened up my Facebook account again to go in after a bunch of photographs. Now I have all these photographs on like hard drives and so forth. And but it's like, okay, well, I need to get some of those because I was wanting to do that halfway to Halloween video.
Oh
And
yes.
so there's a bunch of Halloween pictures that I have in there. But then and so then and then immediately it's just like, oh crap, I gotta get out of this place as fast as possible because this this is, you know, this because this Facebook is just gonna drag me down again just like it did
Yeah,
before.
it does.
And granted, yes, I do. There are all these people I want to, you know, that I know that I actually know in the world, and I would like love to hear what they think about the you know, the current political situation in America. But I don't really want to, like, you know, have those guys say, well, you know, Bill, you know, Satan's got a special place for you in hell. And you know, and all that kind of stuff, you know. Anyways, that's neither here nor there. And yeah, thank you. And anyways, uh, I'm sorry, I kind of went off into that place, but
You're all
never.
right.
and you were, yeah, because I had heard that story where you had that initial success in doing a reading and somebody, and then it turns out that you see that it was actually, for reals. And I've
Yeah.
had those kinds of things with doing with my sister, and then, maybe I drew those cards and I didn't quite interpret them right in the moment, but then you go back and you look at them later and you think, oh, maybe it's something else, because you don't really see. I don't know. Maybe it's just that you don't always see everything in the
No,
moment.
no. It could always be a few hours later where something would kind of click with you.
Yeah, yeah. And so, anyways, so you got that, and then
Can I just say something quick to a few people? For the love of God, stop texting me. I'm on live on my phone, so I can't answer you. Just wanted
oh,
to
it's
throw
fun.
that out
They're
there.
just sort of they're taking they're entertaining themselves, because when I'm doing these go live togethers, it's hard to multitask.
That's the thing with the
Everything.
phone, yeah, as you keep getting texts, and I'm just hoping no one bloody rings me. But anyway,
It's fine. I mean, they're just entertaining themselves. That's all. And but let me go back into the chat and see if there's any questions there. It just looks um
they're all
like
chatting away.
they're entertaining
There.
themselves. And yeah, Frank, welcome. Yeah. And so earth tones down here. But now I'm gonna
Yeah,
just
that'll be
do a little
nice.
initial shade of some red, make the floor look great here.
Lovely.
And
Yeah, I told Bill last night I had an epiphany that the cups, because there's 9, would have to be green, white, and orange like the Irish flag, and it just worked out well that there was 333, so that was
oh
good.
yeah, 333. So are you with the angel numbers and the now when you said with the animals and stuff? I know it's like there's that wild unknown tarot and oracle. Like you like that one, but for
I
some
had that
reason,
at one point, but I no, that wasn't my cup of tea at all. I realized that I'm obsessed with RWS. At the very beginning, I didn't like it at all. I just couldn't look at it. But
Mhm.
then a few months down the line and overnight, I became obsessed with it, and then I wanted every different version of it. It was crazy.
Yeah, I have my favorite is the radiant,
That's
and
lovely. Yeah,
then
yeah, that was my first one.
I also have what, 4 different versions? I have 4 different. I have
I had that
this
too.
one. I have the mini, because I really actually I like how the color density is in this one the best, because it's really brightly colored. And then it's
That is
this one,
tiny.
and then it is the apprentice, because I have a lot of keyword decks. And
Okay, yeah.
uh let's see, what is the and then there's this one here. But when on Tools of Fortune, I recently have gone to the tarot to go ask it for what my question should be while I'm waiting for my 50 subs so I can start live streaming. I'm still
Tarot
getting
of the Abyss, that's the one Karen is always talking about, isn't it? I think. Is that right,
the
Karen?
yeah, she did talk about that one. Yeah.
Yeah.
And yeah, and then I found the other day, it was just, I bought it blind, was a it was a tarot de Marseille keyword. Actually, it was more like meanings on the cards rather than keywords. Because
Okay.
the there's also, I haven't also, anyways, there's those things. And yeah, I get you with the whole uh RWS, that it's
I love it.
kind
I love it now when
of
I don't want anything else. And if a deck isn't like, I mean, I have decks that are like, the one I have, the Shitty Tarot. I mean, it's based on a TV show, but at the same time, all the images from the show that they chose are very much based on the original Red Weight images. So I really love that.
yeah. And then you've done, like, I've seen that you've done stuff like with, do you still using those haunted house ones? Are you
Yeah, yeah, I do. Yeah.
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 Tower of the Haunted House by Sasha Graham, you know, and I have a vampire deck as well. They're very good, you see, for you know yourself, and I'm sure most people watching know I'm into true crime tarot readings, so they're very
Mhm.
good decks for true crime. I like them.
Yeah, I've noticed that about that women are more likely to be into true crime stuff or serial killer stuff or like
It sounds bad, I know, but
there's a woman in my writers group. I've known her for gosh, I've known her for like almost 20 years now, and I met her up when I was in Seattle and going to St. James of the Cathedral Catholic Church up there, and she's like totally she writes stuff that is like horror writing and serial
okay,
killer writing and stuff like that, but trying to understand. But then one of her siblings was was at the wrong place at the wrong time, if you want to say
oh
that. Ended up being gunned down in an armed robbery like
God,
30 years ago. And
wow,
then she also had a niece who was brutally murdered too. And it's just but I don't know if there's like for if that's a correlation, or maybe you're just trying to understand something. I don't really get the whole horror, the attraction to the horror tarot or the horror stories or anything like that.
yeah.
Do you have any insights on why you find it so attractive?
I don't know. I don't know really. I think it's just do you know, like in particular the Madeleine McCann case now, all them years ago, 18 years ago or whatever it is now. I mean, that I remember watching a lot on, well, I had television channels back then. I remember watching a lot at the time on that as the case kind of progressed and stuff, and I was just fascinated with it. And I don't know, it just went from there. And I mean, there's been plenty true crime cases now, kind of local to me in the last few years as well that have been very interesting and that I have pulled cards on. I did one there only a few months ago with Heather. And I think it was who joined us for that? Alison maybe joined us for that one. On a woman who disappeared, and anyway, last October, no, the October before last, there was bones found in the pipes of the house, and anyway, the cops came in and they dug and they found the remains of her body buried under the floor under the stairs. He had laid down a new floor. He'd done a lot of renovations to hide the body and all the rest of it. It was shocking. Um, so stories like kind of cases like that, kind of close enough to me. I mean, obviously Madeleine McCann was English, but still close to me, you know. And it just, I don't know, but they're ones that kind of gripped the whole world. You know, everyone was talking about and still do talk about them. You know.
Hmm.
So I don't know. I just became fascinated with pulling cards to see what I'd get on them. You know.
Sasha Graham seems like she's something of a celebrity in the tarot world.
She is. Yeah.
And then she came onto your channel. I mean, it
Yes.
feels. Do you feel any bit intimidated or anything like
No.
maybe not at all? But
No.
but
Not at all.
when I watched that live, it seems that like she was like a very gracious person,
Oh, she is
or
absolutely. Yeah.
she wasn't really suffering with a whole lot of ego issues.
No.
And
No, a lot of tarot people aren't. I mean, I think she was the first one, kind of a celebrity now as such, that I asked. I just look for, or Bill, I just said I'll email her if, or I either emailed her or sent her a private message on Instagram or something. And but I thought to myself, what's the harm in asking if you don't, you know yourself, if you don't ask, you won't get. So I just thought I'll message her. If she says she's too busy or she doesn't want to, grand. But no, she contacted me back very quickly and said I would love to join you for a live. And myself and Heather
mm,
interviewed her, and she was very gracious, very down to earth, very normal person, and she is very well known. I mean, she has numerous decks and books, and she travels the world doing, tarot conventions and all sorts. And yeah, but she said she'd love to join us again anytime if if we wanted to. I actually tried to get the artist for that deck as well. I believe he's Italian. Wait now till I think because it's a mouthful. Marco Pier Federici, I believe is his name. And he is an artist for Marvel and these kind of comics and stuff. He's a well-known. Did I say actor? Artist, I meant. Anyway, you know what I
Right.
mean.
Hmm.
So I had asked him as well if he would join us, and he said he would have had loved to, but he was just out that night. He couldn't join us, you know. But he
Yeah.
said, contact me again, you know, if you want to discuss the artwork of the deck, you know. So that really got me when she said yes and did the live. Then I just started asking other tarot deck creators as well, you know. So I love it.
Yeah, I was like thinking I would like to have her on. I wonder if she would like to do something like this.
Oh, she would. Yeah,
Yeah,
she's very good.
he was like that one guy that's like he's British, but he's in Germany, T and Tarot. Now I was a little bit
Yes.
I was a little starstruck with him because he was like he wrote a lot of screenplays, and he had one of his screenplays actually turned into an actual Warner Brothers film.
Oh
And
wow.
yeah, and so, but I really had kind of talked with him on the side. It's been a while, but I was like remembering when I was thinking, oh, when it was like he did a live stream once where he forgot one detail and went on with like an old man's undershirt,
Okay.
and if you can kind of imagine, I think, oh, he is a real person. He is a real person too. It's like, oh yeah, well, because that's something I would do. I would forget that kind of a detail. The shirt. Forget the shirt. You're so excited to go online or whatever, and then you forget a detail like that.
Yeah. That's the guy Bill, isn't it, with the white spiky hair, yeah?
Him, yeah, he's got the
Yeah,
white
I
that
like
white
him.
piece, yeah. Yeah, he's got a very pleasant voice,
He
but
does.
anyway, so
He
you've
has
had some celebrities on,
I have. I have.
and
Yeah.
yeah, all right. So what do you
There's a
think?
few.
What are you
What am
thinking
I what?
so far? So I've kind of got a peachy background. I sort of did some gray accents on the white so that maybe the white will show up a little bit better. And these are sort of earthy tones, but I can come into a different color to bring it up to um, a more. So I have a couple different tones of yellow going on in here. So we have like shadows and light going on, and so you see what I'm doing here, or
I do. No, that looks nice. I like it.
okay. So what about? I need to do a little bit more in here in the background, and
Quick question there, Bill. Frank, Frank wants to know, is his hair real? And I often wondered that myself as well. The tarot
no,
and tea guy.
no, it's not. It's a
Okay.
hat, essentially a hat.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
So what about now that guy in the hermit's cage? He's from your area, isn't he?
He's in England as well. Yeah.
Yeah, yeah. So have you had him on yet?
Not yet. No, no. I remember a few years ago, when I found him first on YouTube, at one point, it was around January, February time, he was looking for people to contact him who would be interested in doing a live with him. And I'd put my name forward, but I didn't hear from him.
Mm-hmm.
So I figured he'd had loads. I knew he said he had loads contact him anyway, you know. And I didn't get around to it. But however, a couple of months ago, he was doing a live, and he just asked randomly. He said, "Would anyone like to come on for 5 minutes and just discuss the topic he was on?" You know. So I did join him that night for about 5 minutes, and I said my
Yeah.
piece, and then I logged off, and someone else hopped on, and that kind of thing, you know. But I haven't had
Yeah.
him on my channel yet. But yeah, he's one of the very first people that I started watching actually on YouTube.
Yeah, the other one that was like I've watched was like the tarot oracle guy. Now he had cancer and then he went off for about over a
Yes.
year and he's recently come back on.
Has he come back? Okay. Yeah, because I watched all his tarot lesson videos. Yeah.
Yeah, because I have one of his books too.
Yeah.
Yeah,
He's very good.
yeah, yeah. He is. He's well. It's that because you had a guy on in doing that whole open tarot reading method where you because it's more of a tarot de Marseille method where, but I don't see how it works with the pip cards. But you go into the card and you just describe what's on the card. You look at instead of looking at what does it mean, you look at it and you are just looking at you have the question and you're looking at the cards and the relation and all the pictures and how the pictures relate to one another and you just describe the scene and that's what the reading is for the most part.
Yeah. I remember I learned in a describe what's happening in the card. So what you
Yeah.
see in the card and then what you feel. So like does the card make you feel happy, sad, angry, etc., etc.
Yeah.
And then what do you know? And with those three things, then you've kind of you'll have
Hmm.
brought a story together, do you know? So I found
Yeah.
that worked very well. And it's very simple, you know?
It is, but it still takes a fair amount of familiarity with the tarot before you can even do that. So there is like I was like thinking about like keyword tarots are they're marketed as beginning tarot decks, but I don't think that they are at all.
No, no, you're right. Because look, I that one that you showed there now a while ago, right?
Yeah.
So I only got that last week. So here it is. There's a lot of information on that card. Like, so if you were new to tarot and looking at this card, you'd be overwhelmed with all the information on it. But you see, because I've been learning, I mean, this is into my seventh year now.
Yeah.
So I bought this because I love the fact that along the bottom it has the number card and then it has the element. It says that it's Jupiter, the Nine of Cups, like is Jupiter in Pisces. And actually, if you Google, so because the Nine of Cups, right, is Jupiter in Pisces, if you Google Jupiter in Pisces, it'll bring the first website that usually comes up is tarot.com. So if you click on
Yeah.
that link, it'll tell you all about Jupiter in Pisces, and it just gives you an extra layer of information in relation to the Nine of Cups, and it's really, really good.
Hmm. Yeah.
So
So
like
yeah.
I'm delighted I got this just and then it's now the chakras I haven't really linked in with yet, but it says what chakra they link it to, which is sacral in this case. And then if you were looking for a yes or no answer, it says yes, and it tells you a Hebrew letter, which is interesting. And there's timing on it. So like the time period now for this for the Nine of Cups, it says is May
Well,
10th to October 28th.
the Hebrew letter it refers to its Kabul
Kabbalah.
the Kabbalah the Kabbalistic the references because of where from my limited studies
Oh,
it seems that the tarot came out of both Jewish and Christian mysticism
yeah,
and kind of the ceremonial so it'd be like Gnostic Christian mysticism though Gnostic for the most part Gnostic Christian mysticism or the Gnostic orders was pretty much destroyed by the time the church institutional came into being, which was between 320 and 380. And so it was during that nearly what 60 years that those the and as the church Christianity was becoming what it is today, what becoming they went through and got rid of all of the dissenting voices, and Gnosticism was one of the dissenting voices. And so, but Gnosticism, in a sense, reemerged in different forms. And then you had like many of the secret societies. You had
Oh yeah.
uh, there was the Masons and the Rosicrucians, and then the people who were practicing alchemy and so forth. And so that all came out of there. And then you had the printing press coming. When the printing press came, it just opened up the whole world to the light. That's when the light came back into the world. Was like there was two things, actually three things that happened around the same time. It was the printing press, Martin Luther with his 95 theses nailed onto the wall in that German church, and then the Renaissance. And the Renaissance, all those things happened in the 1400s. And then, like, what you had that first, the Solabusca tarot deck, which I think is dated to like 1491. But then
Okay.
that was just a game. And then in the images in the game, it's all about the rise and fall of the Roman Empire. And so,
Okay.
yeah, anyways. And so then I think what is it? Cosmic has that he I think in his research he sees that the first time that tarot was used as a divinatory tool was some time between like 1750 and 1850, and
Okay.
so it's all just really relatively new.
Yeah.
Yeah. So then,
Yeah.
so you've been with the tarot now for 11 years, you say?
Just over 7 years, 2018.
7 years.
Yeah.
7 years. Wow.
It's a long time now.
Yeah. So you must be like a master at it, almost. Well.
I wouldn't go that far. I mean, we're always learning. I mean, every time I watch a new video belong to someone else, whether they're showing a deck or doing a reading or a live talking about tarot or whatever, I learn something new all the time, you know. Like it was only there probably 2 years ago, um, that I was watching. I don't know the guy's first name, but it is Pond Tarot. I don't know if you've heard of his channel. Um, but he was discussing the tower card and something I'd never thought of myself. But if you look at the Rider-Waite-Smith Tower, there's no door in the tower. So he said the tower is a self-built tower that you put up around yourself. So people being thrown out of it are effectively being thrown out of their comfort zone. You know, so I just thought that was amazing. You know.
Oh, so yeah. Let me see if I have one of my tarot art card. I don't think I have one here. I have some that are in process.
Yeah,
Some that are
Karen
in
said I'm always
process
learning.
with
Oh
my
yeah.
UFO and the cows, and
Oh,
then I haven't really finished these ones. So this is some of my tarot art images, and then
cool.
here's another one. This is my moon, and I have that right over here.
Oh yeah, yeah,
And so, but the whole, you know,
yeah.
UFO and the cows, which I thought was pretty fun.
That's good.
And
Yeah.
so my moon image,
Oh, that's lovely. I love the
and
colors.
then I think my most recent one is this one, the hanging
Oh
plant.
wow.
But then, if you look at it from a different perspective, and you look at that hanged man, and you think, oh, you're looking at the world from a different point of view when you are hanging upside down,
Yeah, yeah,
you know. And so, like, because like I think when I look at the tarot or the tower, I kind of, because when I first started my journey with the tarot, I was always pulling that card because I was thinking. So I kind of thought, well, that. just means I'm overwhelmed, and my thoughts that, oh, how hard could it be to learn the tarot?
Yeah.
Like, how hard could it be? Because I was at how many times have I said that word? Like when I was like learning bartending, I said, well, how hard could it be? How hard could it be?
Yeah.
Or it was like going from when I go from like being a bookkeeper to being a waiter. How hard could it be? Well, actually, it was really effing hard. The bartending was like the hardest job I'd ever done in my entire life,
Was it?
and but if I were like looking at beginning decks,
Yeah, I like that book too.
this is what I think is a beginning deck,
Yeah.
because it's this book is a beginning book. And
Yeah.
then that 1909 tarot and Sasha Graham's book is also a beginning book. And so if I were to recommend anybody, where do they begin? Well, get two decks. Get this one and get that one.
Yeah.
And then make sure you get the kit so you get those books. But I bought this book separately, and I wish I
That is a
but
good book.
yeah. But anyways, that and then somewhere down the road, when you have a framework of what the kind of the tarot means, but you draw a card and you think, well, that's the point in time that you go with one of those keyword ones, because you
Yeah.
already have an idea. So, but then you just don't have anything memorized, because you're not that type of person. You don't, because some people are really good at memorizing that stuff, and other people aren't, and I seem to be one of those people who aren't very good at memorizing those things. And anyways, so let's go on with
Karen.
your little guy here. what
Oh, go
what
on.
do you want him to be, like purple or something, or
Do you know what? Yeah, absolutely. I was thinking there has to be purple in there because obviously purple is kind of third eye crown chakra spiritual color. So yeah, absolutely.
uh,
We
I'll
need
take
purple.
some purpley colors here, because I
Yeah.
know that you need to go to sleep, because you get up at like 3 o'clock in the morning,
All
and
hours. Well, not that early.
yeah.
Karen said temperance is my bartender card, and absolutely. And a quick little story about the temperance card, right? We were already discussing true crime, and I mentioned the Madeleine McCann case, right?
Hmm.
I about 6 months ago or something, I pulled a few cards on it and made a video and put up on my YouTube channel. And the temperance card came out, and you see, they'd always said that the parents had given them some sort of baby sickness, sleep medicine kind of a thing, something like Calpol. I don't know if you have Calpol over there, but something like that, to put them to sleep and keep them asleep when they wanted to go drinking. So when I pulled the temperance card, I immediately thought, oh my God, did they mix drugs that night or medicines or whatever you want to call it, that
Mm.
caused whatever happened to happen, you know? So that's now what I see in the temperance card when I'm doing true crime readings, you know?
So it's kind of so that's kind of interesting, because I was wondering, when people do like the political reads and things like that, and I look at the cards and they pull out, oh, and then it's this one, then is it really, or are you just like, are they just making that stuff up on the spot? Because
Possibly, I'd say.
it kind of seems like that, because there's like, all right, I don't want to name names out there, but it's like I sometimes think about that, and I think, all right, every single one of them got the last election wrong, and so why should I believe anything that they say now?
Oh yeah, yeah, yeah,
And then it's like, well, and maybe what it is that you really there are some things you just really can't see, and maybe what people are seeing, maybe what they're seeing is just the dreams of a certain segment of the population, and that's what
yeah,
a certain segment of the population wants to see. And
yeah,
then what would it be then? Because if you go back, I mean, oh, in this country, because in 2020, for like 2 years, you had that group. QAnon, and they were saying exactly the same things that these folks are saying. Oh, any day now, that this is going to happen, and and Joe Biden's going to get reinstalled as the president or whatever. I'm thinking, well, wait a minute, the QAnon people were saying that stuff about the other guy. I'm not going to mention his name, but nevertheless, anyways, that's neither here nor there. I don't know if that really made any sense there, but as far as like those those interpretations of cards when they're when the when
Depending
it's
on the types of readings, like,
completely subjective to the individual who's reading them, and
yeah,
then that meaning, it may not have that meaning to anybody else.
yeah,
But then
absolutely.
you have this big platform, and you're speaking these things, and then I look at it and think, I don't really see that at all. I don't see how you're getting that. You know what I'm saying? Do you ever see that kind of stuff going on, or
Yeah,
would
I
you?
do, yeah. One thing, considering we're on the Nine of Cups, one thing, do you know, so she's an American tarot reader and she reads for celebrities. She actually, I looked on her website only a few days ago, and now she's charging, I think it's $1,000 an hour for tarot readings, but this is for celebrities, like, um, but when I first saw one of her videos on YouTube, now she doesn't have a lot on YouTube, but when I saw her first one, what she said about the Nine of Cups, because obviously the Nine of Cups is this fella is blissfully happy. He has all the cups, all the love, emotions, relationships
Yeah.
that he desires, right? He's sitting there with his arms crossed. He's quite happy with himself, you know. This is kind of ultimate happiness. Um but what she said about this card, which I thought was very interesting and it stayed with me, um, was that obviously a fella sitting by himself with 9 cups, she says, you drink too much, was what she said when she pulled the card in a reading for someone, you know. And I thought that's just brilliant. Like, it could be someone coming for a reading going on about how they've an amazing social life and they're out all the time and they're drinking and they're doing this and that and the other, and if the 9 of cups came up, it's like, you drink too much, you're gonna have to rein it in a bit, you know. So
Mhm.
just the different perspectives on the cards like that now from different tarot readers. Something I never would have kind of thought of myself, you know.
Hmm.
I mean, this could be the fella lonely in the corner at a party who doesn't talk to anyone, but he's just sitting there drinking, 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 you know.
You're right. Because so what is it? What when you see this card, what does it mean to you?
Well, you see, I pulled out the 10 of cups kind of to explain. Like, again, uh, if someone came to you for a reading, wanting to know if they were going to meet their special other half and get married and have a cottage in the countryside and have children and live happily ever after, right? And if they got the 9 of cups, I'd say I'd be inclined to say no, because this is a single solitary person with all the cups. Obviously, you'd be
Mm.
expecting to get the 10 of cups, where there is the couple with the kids and the house in the countryside and the rainbow over them, showing everything rosy in the garden, you know. So this is a happy ever after card. I mean, it is wishes coming true and all that kind of stuff, but it is someone on their own. So if they were looking for a bright, happy future with a family and all the rest of it, then I wouldn't be saying that that would come about from just the 9 of cups. You'd be looking for the 10 of cups for that situation, you know.
So
So,
maybe,
but go
sorry,
on.
because I just thought right as you were talking about that, I was thinking, well, maybe this card is more like the Hermit, and you could
Yeah,
card and you say that you need to go into your own little corner and reflect on your life. And
yeah,
these are the experiences that you have in your life, and you need to see what those experiences mean for you.
yeah,
Because you're here, you're in this little room here, and that but your arms are crossed, which means to me that maybe you're not willing to look at your life.
yeah. He's kind of closed off, like, isn't he?
Yeah.
He's
Yeah,
kind of blocking others out too, you know.
walking it out. Yeah.
Yeah.
That
Plus, you see, I've heard people say too about the fact that there's that kind of curtain there. It's like you can't see what's behind it. You don't know what he's done or been through or whatever to get those 9 cups, you know?
so it's kind of like a Wizard of Oz kind of a thing. What's behind the
Yeah,
curtain?
yeah,
Oh,
yeah,
well, that's interesting.
yeah. It's an
Wow.
interesting card. Like I mean, I know it's kind of wishes coming true and that kind of stuff, but there is still a bit of like, I don't know about it.
So wishes coming true. That's what it means as far, but it could have these other connotations. Of course, he's sitting there smiling and like, oh yeah, I got mine. Did you get yours yet? And
Yeah,
it
yeah,
just came in, my clearinghouse sweepskate thing or whatever. It just came, but yeah, I won the lottery and I'm happy.
yeah.
Yeah, all right.
So he's
Then
alone.
what else can you say about this about this car as far as like any is there any like any in your any obscure esoteric things that um that you've come across?
God, no, I don't think so. I'm just thinking of what's on this. Well, this new deck that I have, I like the affirmations on it. I am grateful for the abundance and blessings in my life. Contentment and satisfaction. You have achieved a sense of emotional and material satisfaction and are feeling fulfilled.
Mm,
Um, yeah, you see, one of the reversed keywords then, snobbery, arrogance, you know. So again, sitting with that arms crossed, it's like, oh, look at me, I'm great, I've achieved all this. What have you done to help me, kind of a thing.
mm,
He is a bit smug looking, you know. I'm not a fan of this. I'm glad newer decks have changed the face on this guy because obviously we all know he's kind of always been called the John Travolta card of the deck, you know. He's a bit like John Travolta, but um, other reverse keywords: unhappiness, lack of fulfillment. Yeah, you see, like unhappiness could be a one with a two because like that he might think he has everything,
mm-hmm.
but he is lonely at the same time, you know, because he is on his own. You know, so having all your cups doesn't mean you're going to be surrounded by people who love you and who want to take care of you, you know, because he's on his own.
So what color do you think his chair should be? Like slate gray or something like that?
Yes, yeah,
'Cause that was
that,
that was the color that was coming to me as you were talking here.
yeah, just to kind of bring in it, kind of that I suppose that darkness and that kind of questioning of where he's really at, you know.
Hmm.
It's like when someone wins the lottery and they've all this money, but are they really happy because you know they might only have people around them who want money off them, that kind of thing. It's that kind of vibe from it, really, isn't it?
So it's kind of like he's sitting here, he's got all this stuff, but then he is fighting off the folks who want to get what is his. And he doesn't
Yeah.
want to give it up. So maybe it's not about contentment. Maybe it's about.
I mean, he could be attracting women who only want him for his money. So he might think he'll get to the 10 of cups, you know, but it might be just because people see him dressed fancy with all his cups and think that he has it all. And, you know, they might only want him for his kind of money and his whatever complacency. Yeah.
Yeah.
Maya said also it can be a person with a drinking problem hiding it well. Absolutely. Yeah. How many other cups might be hidden behind that curtain?
Yeah, the empty ones that
You know?
they use
Yeah.
to build everything up.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah, I hadn't really thought about that. It was a whole thing of, oh, we have, because that is kind of interesting. Well, maybe in different situations you would pull it up. Oh, well, but you have a drinking problem.
Yeah. Yeah.
Hmm.
I love that from watching other YouTubers, you know, all the time. is just getting completely different um, thoughts on cards that you wouldn't have come up with yourself, you know.
Yeah. Have you ever watched one of Tarot Ask Backwards lives?
Tarot who?
Jeff at Tarot Ask Backwards.
Oh, the ask backwards. Yes, yes, yes. I
Yeah.
know Jeff. Yeah.
I mean, 'cause he's quite well intuitive as far as
Yeah, you see,
picking
I like
things.
that. I like to, you know, when people have kind of intuitive hits on cards. Another one now, for example, right, with to do with my true crime readings is like the Four of Cups. Obviously, the Four of Cups is someone bored with their three cups and not seeing the fourth cup that they're being offered by the universe, right? But
Mhm.
because I've been doing true crime readings, I see the Four of Cups as, say, if there was a missing person or a child, right? Um, it could be that they were lured away. You know, it's like someone is going, "Oh, here, some sweeties, come with me." Do you know what I mean? So
Yeah, because you've mentioned that before, and so
yeah,
I've actually taken that being lured away. I kind of because there was a video that I'm working on right now. I was hoping to finish it before I went to sleep, but that didn't happen because it's my Tuesday video for Tools of Fortune, and
oh
I was using that whole thing with being in the Four of Cups of being lured away, but instead of lured away, you're this is an offering to take you away from that place you are when you're sitting underneath that tree, that whatever it is that you're thinking about, this is an offering to pull you out of yourself
yeah,
and let's just go over here to this other place. And I think that's really insightful to have I would have never thought of that unless you said it. See,
huh?
of your influences on me, and then I was like, actually, right before I was watching that one of your videos again, and it was that whole was it in 2018 when that one video was circulating around? It was like a some English lord or some prince or something about you will own nothing and be happy.
Yes, yeah, 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 yeah,
And then all of the the right wingers in the United States that I knew interpret that, oh, that's just the left. They're, communists is coming. The communists are gonna take over the world, and they will control everything. And then I was like looking at, well, wait a minute. Well, what if it's that one person is gonna buy everything? It's all gonna go into the private hands, and there's just gonna be this very few amount of people who are gonna own everything in the world, and everyone will be a renter. No one will have any personal private property. Everyone's going to be a renter, and then they'll have no choice but to be happy
yeah, yeah.
with having nothing. Hmm. All right. Well, it is getting kind of late for you, and I wanted
That's
to try to
lovely.
keep it in around to that hour time period. And I did, yeah, I really have felt very blessed to have you on today.
Thank you very much. I know it took a while, but I had all sorts of crap going on since last May. So no, there's still crap going on, but anyway, I'm feeling better myself, so I'm trying to get back into my own lives as well. You know, I was
Mhm.
back in, was it January? I was enjoying my mystical musings Monday lives, and then I had to put a stop to that in February because I was in and out of appointments and whatnot. So
Mhm.
but I'm all good
Yeah.
now again, I think. So I need to get back into them because I love doing lives. I love it.
Yeah. Well, life happens, things
It
happen,
does.
and
It does.
end up having to make changes in our lives, or you get over 40, and then
Yeah.
oh, you need glasses, and then oh, you got your pre-diabetic now, and oh, you need to add more exercise into your life, or or whatever, or you need to do this, or you gotta stop eating that, and then
There's always
God,
something.
it's just something, and trying to change your diet is just like, oh my god, I've changed like one or two things, but I don't know. You know how it is. Everybody
I
knows
do.
how it is. It's just like
I
you,
do.
changing your diet is, they say, is that it's easier to change your religion than it is to change your diet.
Well, I love all food. So I remember a few years ago when I don't, was I going through a phase of I sneezed a lot anyway, but that's because my nose was broken. My lovely daughter broke my nose when she was a baby. But I was sneezing so much when it happened first that my husband said to me one day, he goes, "Oh," he says, "imagine if you were allergic to milk and cheese, two of my favorite things." I was like, "No," I said, "I don't care. I'll still drink milk and eat cheese." There was no way
Yeah.
was I going changing my diet if I had
Mhm.
allergies, but I didn't. I didn't even get tested.
Well,
Have you had?
I'm gonna make his face and his hands green. Since there's an Irish person here in front of me.
Do.
You've had like in over there in Ireland land, you had like I think there's like some Irish. Well, anyway, you've had that's are you that's a
Hulk.
political. I should ask
Ravneet said Hulk.
about what was that? What does Ravni say?
Ravneet said he looks like Hulk.
He looks like he's in a cult.
No, Hulk. You know the Incredible Hulk,
Oh, the Hulk. Yeah,
the green
yeah.
fella.
So yeah, I fought him. I guess the Blues a lot. Yeah, and yeah, Fatima, and yeah. So they got the greeny face and the Irishness here, and yeah. Well, this has been a fun time. And
Karen said we all learned so much from each other. Love it. Thank you both. Much love. Absolutely. Yeah. Yeah.
yeah,
I'm
yeah.
always like I'd never say I was an expert at tarot just because I've been reading for 7 years. You know, I'm learning something every single day from someone. Because I
Hmm.
watch at least one YouTube tarot video every day. I can't help myself.
Well, I don't watch YouTube tarot content every day because I take like Sunday when I get done with my Sunday afternoon live. I try to take a 24-hour break from watching a lot of
Okay.
take a day off, and it kind of goes in correspondence to when I did work in food and beverage because my days off were Monday and Tuesday for years and years and years, and
Yeah.
so I tend to take. But since I started doing Tools of Fortune, I've I still I'm not taking as many days off YouTube, and because YouTube is all consuming to a
It
large
is.
degree.
It is. It
You
is. I know.
know, 'cause I mean, like when I think I woke up like three times in the night, and I think, and each time I woke up, I pulled my phone out, looked at the app, the statistics or whatever. I'm trying to do it less, and it used to be a lot more, and how tied you are to those analytics and so forth. And oh, well, what is it? Did I go viral yet? No. Did I go viral yet? No.
Yeah.
you know, you know. Did I get discovered yet? No. Yeah, hey, maybe once a week I'll go check my lottery ticket. Did I win the lottery yet? No. Um,
I
no, my.
know. I know.
Oh, I got two numbers right. Oh, but that's like no dollars, and anyways. Well, here we go. We're at an hour and 10 minutes, and it's not perfect. And we had a lovely conversation. At least I
We
hope.
did.
And I really really appreciated that you came on, and that things are starting to stabilize out in your life. And
Yes. Thank God.
you were at Eastern Europe. You were there, and
We were in the Czech Republic in February, and we're going again now in about 3-4 weeks.
oh, you have
Yeah.
relatives over there.
My in-laws, my mother
You're
and
in.
father-in-law, my husband is Czech.
I see. I see. So it's like then you have like some. Now, I guess where it didn't go was your. Well, I'll have to have you on another time, and we can
Yeah.
talk about your what was in your past that drew you into the tarot.
Oh yeah, yeah.
Like things that my sister has told me about. Is where I kind of got the launching point was I had COVID. My mom was in intensive care for COVID. We were both sick with it. And then I called my aunt, and then she told me about her grandmother from Sweden who I think she said she was a tarot reader, but I think it may have been that she read tea leaves
Oh
and
yeah, yeah.
she read cards and things. And I think I have a memory, and it may be just a phantom memory, but I'm not sure that I was at my grandmother's house. That was um her mother. It's her mother, but where I was trying to play solitaire with a Marseille tarot deck.
Okay.
And I'm trying to take a Marseille tarot deck and trying to. And I think that's what she read was a French tarot. And the way that it was, I put this together in my head. No one ever told me, but I put this together in my head that, oh, I think I know what it was like. It was that they would, when they were younger and they had first come to the United States, and they would have these big drunken parties, Swedish drunken parties. And then while the boys were out playing in the yard, the women would retreat into the kitchen and say, "Oh, Mom, can you read my fortune?"
Oh yeah.
Gather around the kitchen table and read each other's fortune. Oh, Mama, read my fortune. Read my fortune. And then maybe a sister-in-law or whatever. Oh yeah, read mine, read mine. And so that's kind of how I gathered how that kind of went. Maybe it was more like a party favor, or you just go over to your now my whatever. That's kind of how I gathered
Kind of a
how that
party piece.
at least that's how it went down in my imagination. And
Yeah, yeah.
you know and so maybe you have a story like that, but we can talk about at another time, and we'll just have a
Absolutely.
have a conversation.
You must come
And
on my channel anyway, yeah.
yeah,
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 cool.
yeah. I'm fairly open to most times, except for ones that are early on the morning. Like,
Ah yeah, we'll figure that out anyway. I could do it a little bit later anyway if need be, you know. That's all right. We'll
all
sort
right,
it.
well, let's
Yeah.
just see here. I'm gonna turn the camera
Turn your camera.
back, and
There he is.
there I am. Let's see. There we go. All right. This has been a pleasure. That's all I can say. It's been a wonderful pleasure,
Good stuff. Thank you very much.
and we got it done pretty much.
We did.
With reason, it
We do
wasn't
did.
perfect, but it's within an hour. I mean, about an hour, and it usually takes about 90 minutes to do these.
There's a good
But
Irish flag there anyway.
so Ravani says Bill reminds me of Minion. What is that, like some kind of a? Oh, the background. Okay, I got my sheet up there.
All right.
Yeah. Yeah, all right. I wanted to thank everybody for being here, and go support Jackie's channel. And if you can find it, if you haven't clicked, gone over to Tools of Fortune, I'm doing some heavy pushing. I just want those,
Oh yeah.
that another 10 subs, so I can do some live streaming. Then I can, maybe work
Oh,
on
okay.
organically, because I'm doing my show almost entirely off my telephone, the
Oh here,
video
see.
editing, everything. And so, yeah.
Oh yeah. Okay.
So, all right. Thank you, Maja. I don't know who that is, but I know that she's been here. Thank you,
Everyone.
Maja.
Oh,
you,
Maya. That's
Maya.
Maya's in Ireland.
Okay, in Ireland.
Yeah.
Thank you, everyone. And Hershey's here. Thank you. And she was,
Hello, goodbye, Hershey.
yeah, yeah. All right. Well, we're gonna say goodbye, and it's a lovely day here, and she's got to go to sleep or something.
It's getting dark here.
It's not dark yet.
Not yet,
You-
no, not.
wait,
It'll be
you-
another maybe hour or so.
So you're farther north, and so you get daylight till what, 11 o'clock at night or something?
Um, it's about somewhere between 10 and half past, I think. So maybe another hour and a half or so.
Yeah,
It'll
because
be
down.
getting, well, it is a bit darker now because the sun has disappeared. We didn't have much sun today. It was a bit kind of dark and wintry today.
See, I'm down here. I'm down at the 45th, and we get on June 21st. It goes up to that's the longest day of the year,
Yeah,
and I
yeah.
think it goes to like maybe 9:30. The stars start coming around 9:30.
Okay.
And thank you, Frank. So what I'm doing here on this 999 show is kind of a lot of variety, and I split my content. I split my content recently, and I started a new channel called Tools of Fortune,
Tool of
which is
Fortune.
all divination. And there's not gonna, I'm not gonna devolve myself into doing art. So when I'm not having a guest on, I'm doing something like a watercolor or a painting or
Right.
some random thing. Like, I mean, Sunday I went to a used store, and I picked up this thing at a place
Oh
that
my God. Yeah, yeah.
plays xylophone. It's made out of like
Yeah.
wood. It's not a plastic one. And so like I was playing it, and then I take care of my mom. She's in her mid 80s, and so all the time while I was banging on it, she says, I just wanted to come in and take a hammer and smash that. It's like, what? There's nothing more annoying than that noise. You gotta stop that noise.
I remember them in school, all right, and they were always kind of annoying. Yeah.
Yeah, 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 yeah.
Oh,
So it would be even worse if I went and located that holder for a harmonica. So I could, like, blow on a harmonica
oh,
or
jeez.
like banging on the thing.
Yeah, yeah. She'd be delighted.
Yeah. Yeah, well, it's like you can't, with the whole YouTube thing. It's not just YouTube, but with the copyright issues, you can't have music on your
Yeah,
channel
yeah.
because the force of
I
of
know.
the of that, unless you're making your own. And Fatima has a brother who does music, and maybe there's something that he does that if he would you like to share. I don't know. I actually haven't mentioned it before, but Fatima's brother is a musician.
Yeah,
And then there's AI music, and you do those prompts, and but I don't know. I do I do the AI stuff so minimally, and it's almost like I just don't want to do it at all because I know that it's going to be taking over the world and all that, and
yeah. I know.
yeah. All right. Well, these are like these long Midwestern goodbyes. You
Thanks
know.
everyone for coming on
Yeah. Thank you very much.
and
And
chatting
so
away.
with this Go Live Together feature, it's there's no backstage. There's only the backstage
Isn't
when
there?
you
Oh, okay,
turn
that's what I was
it
going to
on,
ask you.
and then at the end it's the end. And so
Right.
and
Okay.
the reason I use this function is because 65% of YouTube users access YouTube on their telephone.
Yeah. Okay. I heard you saying that the other day on someone else's. I forget which live I was watching, and you were saying about the whole
Huh.
vertical thing. Yeah. I
Yeah,
don't
and
know
so
anything about the technical stuff, Phil. So
so
I
so
just I
so it's
believe
like
you.
this. If I'm going to do a video eventually, but I have I haven't done one of those specific YouTube videos yet, but a lot of channels do, and I'm going to do
Yeah.
one. And
It's
my
interesting to know, though.
my advice is that if you have two or more guests on, use streaming software. If you just have one guest on, use this function.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah.
All right. Well, I'm gonna let you go, and you can go to sleep if you can with the daylight
I know.
till 11. So then that must mean that
Oh,
in the winter time, it's dark for longer too. That
yes.
you might actually get that phenomenon that happens close to the Arctic Circle where they have like a whole month of like no light.
Yeah,
And
we get very little daylight. It's depressing in winter, but anyway.
then is it anything like that show Northern Exposure when they go into those times where people are just going absolutely nuts? Uh,
Yeah, it can be quite like because you're leaving the house in the morning, take the kids to school, for example, and it's dark, and then you come home after collecting them, and it's dark again already, and the day is gone. And yeah,
yeah. All right. All right.
yeah.
I'll let you go. I'm sorry. I
Thanks, everyone.
yeah, thank you very much. And and thank everybody for your support, for supporting Jackie, and for supporting
Absolutely.
all of us here in the tarot community. And we'll see you the next time. Bye bye.
Bye. Thanks, Bill.
You're welcome. Thank you, Jackie.